Welcome to Good Night Book with Erica and Nate.
Are we going to do Lord of the Flies at some point?
Yeah, for sure. It totally fits into the genre that we are discussing.
Cool. I think that was Mo Willems as well.
Mm-hmm.
Is it Mo Willems? Is that what it is? Oh,
yeah,
it makes me so mad every time I look. Every time I read it. What if Mo Willems did a Lord of the Flies?
I got some tidbits on Mo Willems that don't contradict what you're saying.
Oh, I can't wait. Let's dish. Ready for the dish? We're gonna dish today. Today we're dishing about the book "A Big Guy Took My Ball" by Mo Williamson. By Mo Willems. And that's the book. Should we start with the synopses?
Yeah,
just to get it out of the way.
No, let's do it. We have to.
Okay. We have to.
Committed.
We have no choice.
Okay. Here's mine.
Okay.
A little pig asks her elephant friend for help getting her ball back from a perceived bully. But due to a misunderstanding, they all end up playing together, and lessons were learned.
I like that due to a misunderstanding. Usually that's bad, but it ends up being good.
No, it
due to a misunderstanding, they all play together. As though that's
yeah, right.
That's written by an introvert. Unfortunately, they all end up playing together and having fun.
Yeah, I thought about rewording it, but I was like, I think that's actually the plot. And I'm trying to be very literal with my synopses.
Well, I'm going to be very metaphoric in my synopses.
Okay.
A whale is like a sandwich. Wait, that's what am I saying? Simile. I couldn't think of any word but synopsis. My synapses weren't firing. Okay, here we go.
Nice.
A pig tricks an elephant into confronting a whale over a relatively big or little ball. With no contractions. Yeah.
Sorry, I interrupted you.
Yeah, I'm pretty pissed. I gave a pretty big pause there.
Hard to know. Maybe we should have visual cues when you're... Yeah, just keep your mouth open.
Or I'll put my menu down when I'm ready to order.
Yeah, that sounds good. Okay. Next time.
Next time I'll put my menu down. Also, actually, but before we order, could we get a round of... could we get an awesome blossom?
Jalapeno poppers. We don't have an awesome blossom, but we do have jalapeno poppers.
Oh. No, then. I'm out of here. Vroom. Okay, so here's the thing that I'm just going to come out with it and say my biggest takeaway, or the thing I think is most interesting about this book that I feel like is under-discussed. And every time I've brought it up to people, being my children, they are like, what are those words? But there are no contractions in these books, or at least in the ones that I have. They don't say don't. Do you know what I'm saying? They don't say can't.
They say do not and cannot.
Too awkward result at times, in my opinion. A little clunky to read.
I have never read this book before. I read a lot of Gerald and Piggy books, and some of the pigeon books. And so this one was new for me. I was not paying attention, so I did not read it over and over again to the extent that you did. But now I want to I was actually trying to track down the ones we have, but I think we gave them away. It was Olive's first read on her own book. So that's what and he's, my little tidbits about him. He's very intentional with everything he does. And he takes himself very, very seriously. I sent you a video of him being interviewed on some CBS show recently, because he's now written a book for adults, but it's so he's very famous for his pigeon books as well. And he's using the pigeon as a meditative cue, or almost like a Zen master to explain how to not take things seriously. But
this is like the Tao of Pooh.
Yes,
he's just ripping
exactly.
off
His
the Tao
version
of
it with the pigeon. And when he talks about the Tao pigeon, it has to be something else because that's too obvious. I think it's called, I'm just going to promote.
Of The piety of pigeon.
The pigeon
I was going to
way.
say piggy.
No, that's
The pigeon
exactly
way.
it. That's exactly what it's called.
Oh, good.
I don't want to promote his book.
Don't.
But as he's explaining his adult book, he's explaining his philosophy about children's books, which is, it's not bad. And I think he makes some great points. It's about like the drawings not being that detailed, so they feel accessible and want to make kids want to draw, and how drawing is about empathy because you're like putting yourself in the place of this character you're spending a lot of time with. And so I imagine he didn't talk about the writing going all the way back to your contractions comment, but he does talk about how he makes that accessible as well. And I think it's true. Obviously, these are like early reader books.
Right. Well, yeah, I mean, I think it's probably valuable if you're a kid reading them for sure, because contractions are confusing. What I thought was kind of interesting about it, if you think about it this way, speaking of, getting a little philosophical,
do it.
Without contractions, right? We don't have contractions in these books, but without contractions, there would be no kids born to read these books. You know what I mean?
That's really deep. It took me a minute.
Because when you have to think here.
Yep.
It might take 9. You got to let it incubate.
For 9 months.
For 9 months, and then you are going to laugh. Oh, boy, are you going to laugh. So is that a big pig or a little elephant? Because the size is kind of messed up. This book is all about the size of these characters.
Yeah. It's also kind of, like a teaching book, because there's a whole moment of like relativity of
right.
Big to you, little to somebody else. Well, I mean, I think that, I don't know. I also don't know how seriously to take these books, because I always, when I don't think about them and deep dive into contractions, empathy as a means to save the world, I think they're funny. And they're just like, I'm kind of distracted and I don't think about the lessons to be learned. I think their expressions are funny.
Well, I'm a good parent. So when I read books to my kids, that's what I think about.
Okay.
Like, as opposed to you. We all have all different stripes. You know what I mean?
Right. Yours is just being an awesome 100%
like
all
a good
the time.
Parent.
Good parent.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's just like we all have different, it's not anything against your style.
No, I definitely do not feel judged.
Okay, good. So you enjoy yourself. That's something I don't do. And I don't believe that should be part of parenthood. So far.
every page you just pause and you go, when Piggy said that, he didn't say please.
I said, what have you learned? That's what I say.
What do you think about this?
What did you learn, Wesley? Tell Daddy what you learned.
Yep.
And then she does. And I say, sleep now.
And that is her cue. She knows not to not behave.
Like, okay, Daddy. Yes, Daddy. Okay, Dada. So, yeah.
Did you really want to talk about their size and how?
I was just wondering. I guess it does annoy me because the thing is about the size of the whale. Mm-hmm. Then is this a big, like the elephant should be a lot bigger than the pig is my point.
I see what you're saying. Yeah. I think it would be really hard to write a book where, one of the main characters is really hard to see their facial features because they're scaled so small. Maybe Gerald's a baby elephant. It could be a preemie baby elephant.
Preemie baby elephant. He can, I guess, because elephants can kind of walk right away.
Yeah, on their hind legs.
And they often wear glasses when they're little.
What do you think about their names? This is one
Gerald
of the things
and Piggy, huh?
Right. Like Gerald gets like a real name, like a name. And Piggy just gets
Erica, he's the man. And he's earned his title. No, do we know the genders? I've read reference to Piggy being female, but I didn't realize that until later.
I don't think it comes up in the books as a part of the narrative. I think it comes up in like the back of the book descriptions because they're talking about them in third person. Otherwise, nobody talks about them.
Do you like how I made it sound
person?
like I've done some sort of academic research about these books when actually it turns out I was just reading the back of the book? It's like, well, when I've read about, you see, Erica, when I was looking at microfilm,
I actually think it was microfiche.
Oh, fish.
That's where I found them anyway.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's a whale. Micro whale. Macro whale, really.
Well, that poor whale. I don't know if it's just because I'm super smart or that I don't trust my children, but I have one child. I don't know why I used plural. But
the royal
knew.
child. Princess.
Aren't they all? I knew that whale was not a deviant. I could see it on her face. Mm-hmm. I just didn't trust the tale of Piggy. Mm-hmm. So whenever you bring up the whale, I'm having like little heart hurts because I just don't like misunderstandings. And this one turned into a very sweet lesson, as I think a lot of them do, the Gerald and Piggy ones.
I kind of feel like Piggy's being
Say it.
A little bit of a dink in this book.
Oh, okay. So dink. Okay.
Yeah, dink. Like she's, or he, or they are being, like getting Elephant all riled up to fight this fight.
I know.
And to be fair, like he said, Piggy did not say how big, you know?
Right. That was a Biggie, big whale. Yep. And then was all like, you didn't get my bomb back, did you? Like, I know.
You know, like,
and then Elephant felt bad. Gerald
it.
felt bad. She's making everyone feel bad. That device that he uses, which he uses a lot, he'll use like a blank frame to pause or like show an expression and to give like the comedy a beat. Mm-hmm. I love it. I think it's really effective. He does it in Pigeon. He does it in all these books. It kind of reminds me of what we loved about Goodnight Moon, which is that Goodnight Nobody page. Mm-hmm. It feels like he may be taking a cue from Margaret Weiss Brown and being like, you know what? Let's just have a moment here.
Yeah, free page. Speaking of Margaret Weiss Brown, I wanted to acknowledge that we're back to Unlikely Animal Pals back in the BRB episode. That's Big Red Barn for those uninitiated. The BRB episode, we were talking about Unlikely Animal Pals, and we're talking about it again. I mean, an elephant and a pig. I mean, come on.
Well, not to mention the poor whale out of water. I mean, there's several.
Oh, I never once thought of that.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of books do that now. You know, it's not uncommon to see something that would probably be dead in a second, like spend the whole book chit-chatting with people on dry land.
Well, I just don't believe it. Now that kind of shatters the whole reality of this.
I'm sorry. I'm bringing it down a notch. Unlikely? Yeah,
I kind of thought this
50.
was based on fact. You don't think this is based on fact? Right.
Like Mo Willems has like a rescue animal hobby farm somewhere. And I'm pretty sure it's got to be like upstate New York or New England somewhere. He took some liberties with this one. Yeah, with the whale.
You told me he's a jerk. Why do you think he's a jerk?
Well, I couldn't. So I have some friends that are in the biz, and it's not outright meanness, but just through word of mouth. That one thing that sticks out is that he has like a really ridiculous writer for his like speaking engagements and stuff. He won't talk to other people. He has to have like certain things in his like green room, and everything has to be dialed in just right. Like he's just, and it's not exceptional to hear those stories about like, forgive me, but like a real celebrity. So for somebody who is like taking that level of care with his own identity and needs.
Well, I don't know. I've seen a picture of him, and he doesn't seem like a guy that would take himself too seriously.
I know. Oh God. He's got like architect glasses and swept back, gray fox kind of hair.
Mock turtleneck, probably.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I actually really do like this book. I like that it's pretty breezy. I like the drawings a lot. I think he's really good at facial expressions.
I know. He is really good. How do your kids react to the facial expressions? Do you ever see him trying to like mimic them?
No, when I'm reading a book, Erica, like I said, I'm a great parent. And I'm also an extremely good actor and reader. So I'm lost in the moment. I'm not really interacting with them. I feel like that's their time. That's, that's kind of their job, is to just, just witness what's the magic that's unfolding in front of them.
Oh, do you get so mad like I do when they interrupt you and you're like, that's the time to go back now.
Yeah.
And reread those two pages.
Then I start over. I was out of character. Yeah, now I don't even, this isn't going to be very convincing, but I guess we'll finish it. Just drink your milk. Drink your warm milk. I do have voices for these three characters that are fun.
Oh.
I think.
Do you do when you do the voices? Do you do it by their size? Is that how you judge how to do them?
I do it by their attitudes, but I guess the whale, yes, is a big deep.
Excuse me. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Ooh.
So big, no one wants to play with me.
Now I'm tearing up a little bit. I was gonna have a really good day, and now I'm feeling feeling feelings.
But they get to play together at the end.
I do know that. And they make it a special game about him. And where did all the water come from? This guy is clearly out of water.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
So many holes in this one. Is mine? It's a digital copy. I was also read this book, as I do when I don't have books. So it was interesting to hear their voices. I didn't agree with the whale voice that I heard on my video. It was like a 8-year-old boy, and I really like yours.
I think the whale is a big old guy, a creep. He's a creep.
Yeah, that's great. Great.
Luring little piggies with balls.
Oh, God.
I just like how the elephant gets so mad.
I know. He's like cursing up in the air.
I guess that's what makes me a little bit mad about Piggy in this situation, is that Piggy gets him riled up. She knows he's gonna do her bidding.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so she's like, I don't know, it just seems a little like she's getting him really worked up. Yeah. And not being like, oh, also, by the way, it's a fucking whale.
Who looked like it was his. Also, did I mention I found the ball? This would be like the place to reinsert that information.
Right. Yes. And right. Well, he does say at the beginning that he found the ball.
I know. But that's all glossed over. This is where I, as an adult, as we all know the ending, we know that there's no bad guy in this book. It's an adorable book with many, many lessons for children.
Piggy's the bad guy.
Right. Yeah. But I don't, if Olive's saying, something to me about so-and-so was so rude and hit that kid, and I know so-and-so to not be a violent child of any kind, I'm always digging for information. I know that is her truth, but it might not necessarily be the truth.
Mm-hmm.
And that if there was any evidence that these were all children, they are just going along for the ride.
It's all relative. I guess that's what they're saying too. It's relative in size. It's relative in truth. Truth is relative.
Mm-hmm.
There's
Morals.
good people on both sides.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All lives matter, I think,
exactly.
is what this.
Exactly, Erica. Thank you so much. Speaking of contractions, going way back to contractions, how was giving birth? No. What is your favorite contraction?
Give me your birth story.
Yeah, how was it? Scale of 1 to 10.
Yeah, we're going to pass over that because that scale is not
adequate.
Wait, what's my favorite contraction?
Or most used.
I would say I just did this in a crossword puzzle, or like over, but in old American Star Spangled Banner, or the Rockets,
or the Ramparts.
Ramparts.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
You hate this country. Admit it. My most used, I'll say, as the parent of a toddler and a recently toddler, is don't. For sure. Don't do that. Don't. We don't want to put that in our mouth. We don't even have a cat,
I'm muted because I have a dog barking in the background. Is that fun? Can you hear that?
I can't hear that.
Oh,
I can hear
good.
you saying it though.
Okay.
I heard that. Oh, I heard that. Okay, so would you consider yourself, this is like a Sex and the City sort of question.
I'm so excited.
Are you a piggy, an elephant, or a whale?
Well,
Or Samantha. You can. We're gonna put Samantha in there too. Obviously, a Samantha. That's a classic Samantha.
Well, if I'm going to like assign some like childhood personalities to these, I'd say Piggy is the only child, and Gerald is sort of the older brother protector, maybe sometimes giving Piggy a hard time. And then the whale is like the misunderstood hero. So I'm Piggy. I'm not an only child. I have a sister, but I was raised in a similar way to an only child. So I think if we're getting real deep, which is what this podcast is all about, get real.
Yeah, please, we're going to really...
I took the question seriously. I'm Piggy.
You're Piggy.
I'm
And I believe, speaking of drama, we were on stage together once where your name was Fatty.
Oh, yes. It's true. We did do that play, and my name was Fatty. And I did wear a pillow.
I wore a pillow.
Have you thought about this deeply? And do you have an answer that's neither serious?
No, I have not thought about this much, except that Elephant seems like really principled and feels like he's really tough, but then isn't at all, and is kind of accepts things too easily in general in the stories. So I would say, and he takes himself pretty seriously, kind of. And I feel like I'm probably an elephant. Oh, and I wear glasses.
Right. And you have big floppy ears
and a huge trunk. Yeah, so I think I'm definitely an elephant. We got no whale here. Oh, Brendan Fraser.
We have all been the whale from time to time. Anybody listening? Is somebody listening to this right now? One of our friends.
Yeah, Brendan Fraser. Right. Brendan Fraser listens, big fan, and he's the whale.
Big fan of you too, Brendan. Brendy.
Yeah, back at you, bud.
This book, I'm going to take credit for prompting it because I want to give credit to some of our friends who listened to the podcast and asked.
We got this is a requesto?
Yeah, I forgot to tell you, nice. But it's sort of a sneak attack.
Because you wanted to take credit for it. You wanted to be like,
I'm trying to pass on the credit.
Now.
And suggest that this could
right
be
at the
a
end
component.
Of the okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you to the friends. Are we naming them?
Yeah, they're our Moho friends.
Oh, nice. I know that.
It was all the K's. So Kara, Kirsten, Deb, I think, chimed in and said, yeah, I like reading all
Kadeb. Yeah. It's a silent K.
And Kasera. Yeah.
Kasera.
Sarek. That ends in a K.
Sarek the Destroyer. Mm-hmm. Well, thanks for recommending this book. It was really great, or good, fine. It was extremely fine. Thanks. It was
truly fine. Of one of the finest. Oh, wait, then that changes the meaning of that word.
Yeah, the closer books. I am to fine. Yeah. That's really all we have to say about what's this book called? A Big Guy Took My Ball for today. If you enjoy the show, please rate, review it, and tell somebody you like about us. And if you don't like it, tell somebody you hate. That'll show them. For a transcript of this episode or any episode, please send a self-addressed stamped envelope to the address on your screen, and we will send you back a little post-it note folded up really tight that just says, "We don't have that." Until next time, good night, mush. Good night, creepy old lady. And good night, book.
The end.